Greetings. As you know, this sunny day, 305 degrees podcast. We're in the building. We want to talk about why our people can't come together. Why are we so divided? Why are we killing each other? And the root of that syndrome, it's rooted in this Willie Lynch letter. And I want to read the Willie Lynch letter to us. It's the making of a slave. The Willie Lynch letter. This speech was said to have been delivered by Willie Lynch on the bank of the James River in the colony of Virginia in 1712. Lynch was a British slave owner in the West Indies. He was invited to the colony of Virginia in 1712 to teach his method to slave owners there. And here's his letter. Greetings, gentlemen. I greet you here on the bank of the James River in the year of our Lord, 1712. First, I shall thank you, the gentlemen of the colony of Virginia, for bringing me here. I am here to help you solve some of your problems with slaves. Your invitation reached me on my modest plantation in the West Indies, where I have experimented with some of the newest and still the oldest method of control of slaves. Ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented. As our boat sails south on the James River, named for our illustrious king, whose version of the Bible we cherish, I saw enough to know that your problem is not unique. While Rome used cords of wood and crosses for standing human bodies along the highways in great numbers, you are here using the tree and the rope on occasions. I caught the whiff of a dead slave hanging from a tree a couple of miles back. You are not only losing valuable stock by hangings, you are having uprisings. Slaves are running away. Your crops are sometimes left in the field too long for maximum profit. You suffer occasional fires. Your animals are killed. Gentlemen, you know what your problems are? I do not need to elaborate. I am not here to enumerate your problems. I am here to introduce you to a method of solving them. In my bag here, I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. On top of my list is age. But it's there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, sizes of plantations, status on plantations, attitude of owners, whether the slave live in the valley or on a hill, east, west, north, south, have fine hair, coarse hair, or is tall or short. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action, but before that, I shall assure you that the distrust is stronger than trust, and envy is stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. The black slaves, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on, will become self-refueling and self-regenerating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slaves versus the light-skinned slaves, and the light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves. You must use the female against the male, and the male against the female. You must also have white servants and overseers who distrust all blacks, but it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love us, respect and trust us only. Gentlemen, this kit is your keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and children use them. Never miss an opportunity. If used intensely for 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually disrespectful, distrustful. Thank you, gentlemen. The Making of a Slave by Willie Lynch. And so, in thinking about how disunited our community is, especially our young brothers that's in the streets, that's caught up in that triangle from the pork and beans to the pork and beans, PSU, and Lincoln Field, that triangle of death that I call it. And so the Willie Lynch letter and the Willie Lynch practice has been in full effect. So we put the pork and bean projects against the Lincoln Field projects. We put the Lincoln Field projects against PSU. We put PSU against the pork and bean projects. Right? And then it gets deeper. So now we in the pork and bean projects. So within the pork and bean projects, we gonna separate the north part of the pork and bean projects from those who live in the south part of the pork and bean projects. And from those who live in the north of the pork and bean projects, from those who stay in the west of the pork and bean projects. So check this out. Now this is the Willie Lynch practice in effect. We're gonna take those who live in the north side of the pork and bean projects. We're gonna make them enemies from those that live on the south side of the pork and bean projects. And those that live on the east side of the pork and bean projects, we gonna make them enemies against those that live on the west side of the pork and bean projects. Right? So not only that we have a war that's going on against the pork and beans from Lincoln Field to PSU, from PSU to the pork and beans, it breaks down where we have a war right in our community. And then not only that, we're separated from directions and geographical locations within the pork and beans. Now it breaks down that the people on 63rd Street in the pork and bean projects, they are beefing with the ones on 64th Street in the pork and bean projects. And so they become opponents to one another. Then it breaks down. Then we got the actual building that the people stay in. So in the actual building, you know, the next door neighbor got a problem with the one that stayed right next door to him. And then it breaks down even further than that. Then it goes in the household. You know, you got brothers and sisters that jealous of one another, that got issues with one another. You got the parents. If there are two parents in the house, they have issues with one another. You know, and in every sector, every project in Lincoln Field, it breaks down that same way. In PSU, it breaks down that same way. It's the Willie Lynch Syndrome. And then we look at on our jobs. We have the Willie Lynch Syndrome in the jobs. You know what I mean? We have the Willie Lynch Syndrome going on in our community. You got the dark-skinned brothers against the light-skinned brothers. You got the dark-skinned sister against the light-skinned sister, and the light-skinned sister against the dark-skinned sister. You got the brothers like our king said in the song. You got brothers that's getting money that go against other brothers that's not getting money. You got people that have jobs that goes against people that have jobs. You got people that have a higher pay on their job against people that have lower pay in their job. And so this is another segment that I'm talking about when I did a segment that talks about who is your ops, who is your opponents. Really, the thought of you having an op is a deep-seated rooted thing that rooted all the way back to slavery that has attachments to this Willie Lynch letter. And so it's my job, you know, as your brother and as a revolutionary, to go off in our streets, man, and kill that Willie Lynch syndrome that has been a part of our lives and a part of our psyche for over 400 and something years. And everybody is affected by it. So have you ever walked down the street and just seen somebody and said in your mind, I don't like that person? Or been walking somewhere and seen somebody and tooted your nose up at them like you had a problem with them and you don't even know them? That's the Willie Lynch syndrome. So I just want to come on a little bit, because if we don't know what's affecting us, we can't deal with the symptoms properly. And it has to stop. And it's all rooted in that Willie Lynch letter to the slaves that he delivered in 1712 on the banks on the James River in Virginia. So this sunny day, 305 degrees, we opening up this conversation. And hey, to my parents, to our parents that's out there, if you have children that's affected by this Willie Lynch syndrome, hey, contact your brother, contact me. You know, because I'm the one that's going to champion the dismantling of that Willie Lynch thinking that we have in our minds, and it affects our community, and it don't only affect our brothers that are overseers. You know, so we have gang leaders, right, who are likened to the overseers, right? And so in the letter it says, get your wives and your children to use this method, and get your overseers to use it every chance you get. And so the ones that's leaders of these groups, they are overseers, and they are indoctrinating our young children with this Willie Lynch syndrome. And so it's the overseers that we have to have a meeting with, so we can change their mindset, so we can bring to view that in which they are affected with and that in which they are breeding in our children. It's the Willie Lynch syndrome. So, hey, I thank y'all for listening. This sunny day, 305 degrees podcast. Let's open this conversation up. Hey, live your best in your blessed life. Peace.